And we were mobbed, like a scary kind of mob. And then it turns out that another wonderful photograph, picture of me with a bump and a circle around my stomach with an arrow pointing to it, in just this sort of disgustingly objectifying kind of way.
August 11th, 2025. After 2 decades of silence, Jennifer Aniston finally spoke about the scandal that haunted her for half her life. Sitting down in a rare Vanity Fair interview, she didn't dodge, didn't sugarcoat. She called that era a vulnerable time, described the tabloid frenzy as a form of sport, and admitted what fans always suspected. It's a shame that it had to happen, but it happened. And boy, did I take it personally. And just like that, in the story we thought was buried, roared back to life. Social media exploded. Headlines screamed, "Jennifer Aniston breaks her silence." Clips of her quotes spread like wildfire. People debated not just what she said, but why she chose to say it now. To understand why her words shook Hollywood to its core, you have to rewind 20 years. Back to the marriage the world believed in. Back to the betrayal that divided fans into teams. Back to the scandal that never truly died. Flashback to 2000, Brad Pitt marries Jennifer Aniston. They were the golden couple. He was Hollywood's heartthrob. She was America's sweetheart. Together, they were untouchable. Then came 2004, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Angelina Jolie, and the whispers began. By January 2005, Jennifer filed for divorce. By April, Brad was photographed on a beach in Kenya with Angelina and her son Maddox. The images detonated like a bomb. Jennifer wasn't just losing her husband, she was being humiliated in real time. And the media, they made it blood sport. Magazines ran covers screaming, "Jen alone again." Paparazzi stalked her coffee runs like they were prize fights. Angelina was branded the villain, Brad the betrayer, Jen the eternal victim. It was Shakespeare turned tabloid drama, and Jennifer said nothing. She let the silence speak, even as the world turned her heartbreak into headlines. Fast forward back to 2025. Now we know that silence wasn't strength, it was survival. Jennifer Aniston confirms the truth. She wasn't unfazed, she wasn't above it all. She was shattered. And hearing her admit it 20 years later is like reliving the betrayal all over again. Jennifer's words in 2025 hit so hard because the scandal never really went away. Even after Brad and Angelina built their Brangelina empire, adopted children became the most powerful couple in Hollywood. The ghost of Jen lingered. Every time she appeared at an awards show, headlines whispered, "Will she run into Brad?" Every time she dated, fans compared him to Pitt. And every time Angelina was photographed with Brad, the subtext was Jen's pain. But let's rewind to those brutal years again. 2005 to 2007 was open season on Jennifer. She became the tabloid poster girl for pity. Her every move was dissected. Did she want kids? Was she jealous? Was she bitter? Angelina, meanwhile, leaned into the role of the daring temptress turned humanitarian, building a global image that only deepened the sting for Jen. Yet Jennifer stayed quiet. No tell-all, no public feuds, no interviews designed to claw back sympathy. She built her career. She smiled on red carpets. And the silence made her more iconic than she realized. She became the woman millions of betrayed partners projected onto, silent, suffering, surviving, but the silence also ate away at her. In August 2025, she admitted that the coverage left her scarred. She said she feels PTSD even now, that interviews terrify her because she knows the media twists words into weapons. The public thought she was unbreakable, but she reveals the truth. She was broken. And the world laughed. So why now? Why speak after 20 years? Insiders whisper that the timing is no coincidence. Brad and Angelina's own empire collapsed years ago. Their divorce was ugly, filled with custody wars and accusations. Brad's golden boy shine has been tarnished. Angelina's once flawless image is battered. And Jennifer, she's the one who came out on top. Emmy winner, respected actress, admired survivor. For the first time, it's safe for her to speak. And when she did, she reminded the world who the first casualty of this love triangle really was. So, let Miss Cathy knows. How did you feel when you first heard about the Jen and Brad split all those years ago? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to hit subscribe, because the scandals we cover here are the ones Hollywood wishes you'd forget. Jennifer Aniston's words in August 2025 weren't just closure. They weren't a sigh of relief or a sweet goodbye to the ghosts of her past. They were gasoline thrown on a scandal that refuses to die, because 2 decades later, people still care, people still remember. And when Jennifer finally spoke, it reminded everyone why this triangle wasn't just a breakup. It was a cultural earthquake. The betrayal of Hollywood's golden couple still plays like a movie reel in the public mind. Brad and Jennifer had been the fantasy marriage, the perfect red carpet smiles, the dream life behind the gates of Beverly Hills. When it all crumbled, the world didn't just watch. The world took sides, made merch, and fed a billion-dollar tabloid industry. Team Aniston and Team Jolie became a war cry, and the footage of Jennifer wiping away tears, trying to keep it together, became the defining image of heartbreak in the 2000s. But here's what hits hardest now. Her silence back then wasn't indifference, it was survival. And when she finally broke it, she didn't just tell her truth. She dragged us all back into the fire. Because the legacy of this scandal isn't just Jennifer's trauma, it's the wreckage it left across Hollywood. It's the incidents, the leaks, the footage that made it impossible to ever bury. Remember 2005, the Vanity Fair cover, Jennifer looking hollow-eyed, the headline, "The Unsinkable Jennifer Aniston." Inside, her quiet bitterness cut deeper than any scream could have. She said she'd always wanted kids, and then twisted the knife with the words, "Is it odd timing that he's suddenly parading around with this new family? That's not the man I knew." Those words became instant scandal fuel, replayed on every TV show. Then came the paparazzi footage. Brad and Angelina on set in Mr. and Mrs. Smith, laughing between takes, leaning close. The gossip shows slowed it down, zoomed in, treated it like Zapruder film for the tabloid age. The footage haunted Jen for years. Every time it resurfaced, it was like reliving the betrayal. And in 2025, as Jen finally spoke, those clips resurfaced again. TikTok edits juxtaposed her new quotes with the old smirks of Brad and Angie, and suddenly Gen Z was discovering and reliving a scandal they hadn't even been alive for. And let's not forget the beach photos in Kenya, Brad, Angelina, and little Maddox, playing in the sand while Jen's divorce papers were barely dry. Those images are burned into pop culture history. Now, with Jen finally speaking, they flooded back onto timelines. The irony is cruel. The happily ever after that began on that beach collapsed years later in divorce court, while Jen, the woman left behind, is the one standing tall. But Hollywood never stops adding twists. In 2016, when Angelina filed for divorce, the FBI was dragged into the case after reports of an incident on a private plane involving Brad, Angelina, and their children. For months, headlines screamed, "Brad investigated by FBI." Although no charges were filed, the stain stuck. The golden boy who left Jen for Angelina now carried the image of a man out of control. And every time that story popped back up, the internet remembered. Jennifer Aniston was the one who warned us first, without saying a word. And what about Angelina? Once crowned the most glamorous, daring woman in the world, her own image has crumbled under the weight of custody battles and bitter legal filings. In 2022, documents leaked alleging screaming matches, fears for the children, and years of tension. Brangelina, the empire that began in scandal, ended in scandal. And Jennifer, she's the one people call the survivor. But here's where it gets jaw-dropping, the footage that never made it to TV. Behind closed doors, paparazzi photographers admitted to holding tapes, moments they didn't dare sell back then out of fear of lawsuits. In 2025, whispers emerged that some of those tapes, raw footage of Brad and Angie flirting while Jennifer was still at home, footage of Jen breaking down after paparazzi ambushes, could be released in a new streaming documentary. That rumor alone sent social media into a frenzy. What if there's more we haven't seen? Became the question, driving millions of clicks. And this is the twisted truth. The scandal isn't just about love and betrayal anymore. It's about how Hollywood feeds on pain. Jennifer admitted in 2025 that she felt like she was being hunted, like the world treated her misery as entertainment. And looking back now, she's right. Her heartbreak sold magazines, built empires, and turned paparazzi into millionaires. Even her silence became part of the spectacle. Every time she didn't speak, the tabloids filled in the blanks with dramatic headlines. Every time she smiled, they called her brave. Every time she stayed home, they called her lonely. Jennifer Aniston didn't just live through a divorce, she lived through the birth of an entire scandal economy. Now her August 2025 words make the old wounds sting again. Because she confirmed what we all suspected. She was broken, and yet she lived. And in living, she outlasted them all. Brad and Angelina's empire collapsed. Their reputations are scarred. But Jennifer, she's still here, still working, still thriving, and now finally speaking with the kind of honesty that silences everyone else. And that's the real twist. Because in the end, Jennifer Aniston didn't need revenge. She didn't need to attack Brad or Angelina. The revenge came naturally, through time, through endurance, through the collapse of the empire that once humiliated her, and through the power of her words in 2025. Words that reopened a scandal Hollywood would rather forget. This isn't just PTSD, it isn't just trauma. It's a story of survival so shocking, so twisted, and so unforgettable that even 20 years later, when Jennifer Aniston finally spoke, it felt like breaking news. And the footage, the memories, the scars, they prove one thing: scandals like this don't end. They only wait for their next chapter.